Venezuela is at the verge of a food crisis. This started years ago when they confiscated farmlands, confiscated companies and businesses, and regulated the prices. Food is getting so scarce that there hasn't been flour available often, and therefore you see these crazy scenes when it gets available. But now it's more and more empty shelves that meet the shoppers in the stores. There are mile-long lines to get to the stores, and sometimes when they arrive, there is nothing there to buy. This is a line in Anzoátegui last Saturday, measured to be over a kilometer long. In our polls, about 60% of the people say that they're unable to find the food they need. And this has led to plundering, such as here in San Felix, or here when they try to break into store to find something to eat. This was in San Felix, Bolivar State, the other weekend, and one person was shot dead by the police in the riots. Here you see Valencia to the right, where they broke in and throwing things down from the shelves. Here is a plundering of a truck that was accident and loaded with live hens and chickens, so they just plundered that. Here was a collision with a truck carrying beer, and they stopped and plundered it right in front of the police, who did nothing to prevent it. Here is another beer truck they plundered when it arrived to deliver the merchandise. Since the price is regulated in Venezuela, it's much cheaper there than in neighboring Colombia, and therefore a lot of the merchandise and food is smuggled over the border. Here you see bachiqueros, like they're called, regular people smuggling it over on motorbikes on a plank over the river between Venezuela to the left and Colombia to the right. In other parts of the border, the military itself is smuggling the food out of the country and contributing it to the shortage of food. The reason why it's got to be like that is because of a combination of several very unfortunate politics by the regime. These include that it's prohibited to buy in quantity. It's prohibited to store food at home except for the immediate need. It's prohibited to transport food within the country, so you can't bring it from a region with a surplus to one with a deficit. And it's also prohibited to sell at market price because the price is regulated, as I say, and therefore the manufacturer can't afford to bring food in. They are calling this guerra económica, economical war, but that's not what it is. This is just an idea that the communists have, that private sector, like here, the owner of Polar, who makes the biggest company that makes food in Venezuela, the regime believes that they are waging some kind of war against them. That is pure fantasy. The real reason for these riots is that the regime is implementing communist politics that does not work, that leads to famine, that leads to hunger, that leads to disaster. We've seen it in country after country after country, and they repeat the same idiotic, mistaken politics here in Venezuela. And now it's getting to the point where 60% do not have food to eat in our polls. This may be very, very serious unless something is done about it quickly.
Prepárense para un tiempo de masacre y de muerte